This is video 54 of 101. This video is about digestion. Digestion is this pretty incredible process. We literally have this hollow pathway that starts here, and I think you know where it ends, and it runs the entire course of our upper bodies, and it kind of zigzags a lot when you get a little bit further down, but essentially this is the path that food enters our bodies and gets converted into our bodies. Carbohydrates are broken down and used to feed our bodies for energy. Proteins are broken down and used as building blocks to build our body. Fats are broken down to help metabolize and also to protect our bodies, and is also used as an energy source in other instances. Watch the videos about carbs, proteins, and fats to learn more about them. That process of digestion is literally what gives our bodies everything. It is so incredible that this beautiful, lovely, delicious thing that I can eat, how am I able to take something so delicious, turn it into energy for my body, and then it comes out the other end as something that's not delicious at all? Digestion. Let's follow our body here. So we chew, eat, swallow, goes into our esophagus, it then lands into our stomach, which is right here. Once it lands into our stomach, there are digestive juices and enzymes in our stomach that work to break down the food. This takes a couple of hours. After the stomach, it moves into our smaller intestine, which resides somewhere about here. Our small intestine is responsible for the main absorption of vitamins and minerals. This is where all of that energy, all that protein, all that carbohydrates, this is where it's all extracted, is in the small intestine here. It spends a bit of a time in here, a couple hours or so, and then it moves into the large intestine, which kind of loops all the way around, and well, we know where it goes after that. And so in the large intestine, this is where the food that was just broken down gets converted into bile, essentially what comes out your butt. And this is also where last things are absorbed, like water. I pick the food and put it in my mouth, and my body does the rest of it. And then I have energy. That's pretty incredible. Why is digestion so critical? Well, if our bodies aren't able to absorb the nutrients we're giving it, it can't have the nutrients, right? You can't put gas in your car if the gas cap is shut. And if you can't put gas in your car, you can't go anywhere. So digestion is absolutely critical. There are a lot of things that can throw us off if digestion is not happening properly. And that is stuff like bloating or gas or fatigue or even weight gain. And sometimes it can even go into things like cancers, like colorectal cancer. So we definitely want to avoid that. I don't know anybody who enjoys bloating or gas or weight gain or constipation or anything like that. I don't know anybody who doesn't have digestion issues. Even I am still just barely getting over my digestive issues that I've had since I was pretty little. So how do we have good digestion? Good digestion means that you don't feel it at all. When you're feeling bloated or fatigued or tired, it's because your body is putting so much energy into digesting that food that it's stealing that energy away from the rest of your body and all the other movements you can be doing, even your brain and how you think. You know, it's kind of like the thing where if you eat a huge meal, you want to just go to sleep because you're so tired, because all of your energy is going into digesting that food. We want to make sure that digestion is an easy process, that we don't have to feel it all. We can just eat the food and then go out and spend the energy that our body is giving us without having all that energy being diverted into our digestive systems. There are some really awesome ways to help your digestion, and the first thing is to be hydrated. Check out video 42 for a little bit more about water, but essentially you want to be hydrated. So for me, I drink a liter of water in the morning before I eat. I also drink half a liter of water 30 minutes before I eat any meals, because this helps my body be prepared for meals. It's hydrated, so it's going to be working properly. This has cut down on almost all bloating I've ever experienced while eating a meal. Another really interesting tidbit about digestion: food combining is a huge factor in digestion. Imagine this: if you have foods that digest very quickly, like fruit, on top of foods that digest very slowly, like cooked foods, your body is going to be fighting itself because it's trying to digest one thing in one way, but there's also things it needs to digest in another way. It's kind of fighting, and it's trying to digest some things quicker when they need to be done slower. This can lead to a lot of bloating and uncomfortability as well. So the best thing to do is to read up on food combining. There's some links down below. Essentially what it's saying is that fruit should be eaten by itself, and then there are a couple ways to combine certain foods so that you're not going to have these upset processes. Essentially, it's kind of like either combining carbs with fats or carbs with protein, rather than having all three at once. Food combining is really important. Being hydrated is really important. And as well is to be eating the right kinds of food, because our body can't digest foods that it doesn't really recognize. I mean, it can digest them, but it's not going to have a fun time doing it, and you're not going to have a fun time while it's digesting those things as well. So these are things like highly fatty foods, like high in trans fat, any foods with chemicals or toxins, or foods that just kind of aren't really food. Things like candies or sodas, that's not actual food. They're just food-like products that have been marketed as food. I mean, yeah, you can eat them and ingest them, but your body's not gonna like them, and then you're not gonna like what happens after that. And then the last really awesome thing about digestion is fiber. Fiber helps with digestion so much. Fiber is literally indigestible by our bodies, which you're thinking, wait a second, if it's indigestible, why would I put it into my digestion, and how the hell can that help my digestion? Well, essentially, fiber acts like a broom to help sweep out and move things along. You're gonna find fiber in almost all plant foods, so don't worry if you're getting too much. As long as you're eating whole plant foods, you're probably good. That's why whole plant foods move so easily throughout our body, because they have this fiber to help push it along and to help scrape the insides of our intestinal walls to make sure we're getting rid of any kind of toxins that are kind of lingering around in there. Hydration is key. Food combining is an awesome technique to try out if you're having a lot of digestive issues, even if you're eating these whole plant-based foods and you're kind of wondering what's going on. Take a look into food combining, because really it will change your life. It will help to eliminate a lot of problems. When you're eating these highly fatty foods with high salt, sugar, and bad fat content, your body does not like it. It doesn't like to process it. It's very hard because you're not giving it the right kind of energy to process it, so it's pulling energy from elsewhere. And lastly, fiber is key. If you want to poop really well, eat a lot of fiber.